let me hear your thoughts on how you think Alabama did on National Signing Day 2018. Was it a success? Was it a failure? Were you disappointed? Are you satisfied? What are your thoughts when it comes to how your Crimson Tide did on signing day? Is yesterday an indication that the dynasty could be on the decline? Or is it just a slight bump in the road? Or does it even matter? Was the goal of this class so specific that it impacted recruiting as a whole and impacted the class as a whole? Or did we just get out-recruited by a bunch of different coaches? Man, there's so many tentacles that can get into this conversation in recruiting, and you have a place where you can get your thoughts in. You can post your thoughts on Martin Houston Personal on Facebook, or you can call 205-342-9904. Blip in the road. Why did it happen? Was it the coaching staff? Who were the wins? Even if you were disappointed with the class, were there some significant wins in this class? Were there surprises in this class? What's your overall grade? That's the conversation that's happening right here on the Blitz. Also, there's another poll question that I put up. Now, we know Barry didn't think it was that big a deal when he asked the question, what role do fans play in helping the team win in basketball? Well, my question is, what role do fans play in recruiting? Can the negativity of the fans impact recruiting? And the specific question is, did the negativity against Jalen Hurts potentially impact this class? That's a legit question, because there was a caller yesterday, Linda from New York, who called in Ryan's show, and she said, don't blame Nick Saban if you're disappointed with this class. She told Ryan, Red, Biscuit Bruce, and all the other Alabama fans who were negative about Jalen. And someone, she said, even used the N-word. I don't know. I didn't hear that. But anyway, she said
the N-word was used on Instagram.
Oh, on Instagram. Okay, I was like, I didn't hear that on the air on the Instagram. So either way, she was saying that all of that negativity impacted, that the coaches used it against them, and she specifically, this is not Martin saying it, she said specifically that those black moms heard what was being said. So did the negativity toward a guy who had won 26 games and only lost 2, did it impact Alabama's recruiting? So we're not going to have that conversation today, but we have the poll question up. You can go out at Tide 1029 FM, at Tide 1029 FM, and get your thoughts in on that conversation. But, hey, we're going to hear from Coach Nick Saban on what he thought about this class and go from there. And like we like to do each and every day, we're reminding you that this is a day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Don't sit back and complain, but actually be the difference. So, want to hear from you, 205-342-9904, or you can post your thoughts on Facebook Live, Martin Houston Personal, or you can tweet at the Blitz 1029. But here's what we want to take about 4 or 5 minutes and hear from Coach Nick Saban on his thoughts on the 2018 class. Here's Coach Nick Saban.
You know, you guys know I really missed you. So, but look, we're really excited about the players that we were able to attract here in this recruiting class. I know this was a little bit different in terms of having an early signing date and then finishing up today, but we were pleased with the guys that we were able to attract. I think in every recruiting class, there's always a guy that you get that you thought you might not get, and there's also a guy that you thought you might get that you didn't get. And but overall, I think we solved a lot of needs in this class in terms of And I think we had to recruit by need, especially we had to have a punter. We needed to get some defensive backs because we've never lost this many guys at one position at one time. And I think we did a great job in that area. But there's a lot of hard work that goes into this, recruiting by a lot of people. And we certainly appreciate the team that we have here at Alabama and the great effort that they all put in to try to make this class one that can really complement the players that we have now and add to the future success of our team. That team starts with our assistant coaches who do a great job of identifying players, establishing relationships with players, putting a lot of time and energy into bringing it to fruition where we have an opportunity to sign a guy and get him to commit to coming to Alabama. But the team that we have here, starting with our president, Dr. Bell, our athletic director, Greg Byrne, the university community, the professors, the academic staff who spend a lot of time each weekend in helping us recruit, answer a lot of questions about academic circumstances for families is certainly appreciated. John Deaver does a great job on his side of the fence, and all the support staff that we have here, whether it's the medical staff, the strength and conditioning coaches, Miss Amy in nutrition, all these people do a fabulous job of answering questions and helping develop relationships with people to make them comfortable, because one thing that we do have here is a really strong family of people who work together, who stay together to help our players have a better chance to be successful. So we certainly appreciate the atmosphere that our fans create when players visit here for games. I think the energy, the enthusiasm, the tradition are all things that really help us be able to continue to attract character quality people who want to get an education, who want to be good people, who want to be the very best that they can as football players. As I alluded to before, when you sort of, sometimes it matches up in terms of how you get ranked and rated, and sometimes it doesn't. But you have to try to solve some of the needs that you have on your team. I think we were able to do that, in this particular class. So, I think especially at DB, where we were able to, Patrick Surtain is, probably at least he's ranked, as one of the top guys in the country at his position. Savion Smith is a top junior college guy at his position. We got three other guys, a top DB in the state, and Jalen Armour Davis. We felt really, really good about the five guys that we were able to attract at that position, and those guys are going to have a great opportunity to compete on our team. But as I say every year, you can't look at a puppy dog and look at his feet and know how big he's going to get someday. So the real evaluation of any recruiting class, and I've said this when we had number one classes, and I'm saying it now, that is really down the road in 2 or 3 years, how many of these guys really turn out to be really, really good players. And I think that from a coaching standpoint, that's what we want to try to do with every player, try to help them develop as players so that they have a chance to be successful here in their career, and we're going to continue to do that with the players that we're able to recruit today. So I really thank everybody out there that their hard work and energy goes into this each and every year. This recruiting has turned into pretty much a year-round process, and it's not just about recruiting this class, but it's next year's class and the class after that. The recruiting calendar has changed how we recruit, but the energy that a lot of folks put into this is certainly appreciated, and I'd like to thank everyone for that.
That is Coach Nick Saban breaking down this class. I think he really emphasized the importance of just recruiting to need and how it impacted the class. James, but I want to give the Alabama people that's really concerned. Now, don't get me wrong. It would have been much better if Alabama had hit 23 players and hit on all of the players. But remember, I told you I'm going to talk about the role of fans in recruiting on tomorrow. Please be careful what you say about this class. This class with 19 players, okay, scored 283.27 points. Last year's number one class with an average of 92.78. This year's class, 92.78. Last year's number one class had 323.87 points and an average of 93.76. You know how many players they signed? 29. So when you look at the quality of the players they got versus who they didn't get, it changes things. I also want to throw out there, what's the impact of it appearing that players flipped on yesterday? Two guys were never coming. Vernon Jackson, we knew that 2 weeks ago that he wasn't coming. So he didn't flip yesterday, but it feels like he did. We knew Quay Walker wasn't coming since December. So it seems like he flipped yesterday. Now, the guy who I'm shocked over, and I think he'll regret going where he went, is Malik Langham going to Florida. I think of all of the things, now not because he's a big-time player, that's more so from that player standpoint. But before I bring Pat in, Tim Tyson says this, strong class, met needs, missed on a few. We did miss on Copeland. We missed on Langham, and that's what we're looking at. We're not looking at who we got. We didn't miss on Quay Walker and Vernon Jackson because those guys, anybody that's been following recruiting knew those guys were gone. Amazing how so many things happened against Bama this year, and we're still the number 2 SEC-ranked school, and that's where you have to make your hay. One school out-recruited Alabama in the SEC. That's Georgia. Georgia has to replace 33 seniors and upperclassmen. I mean, 33. Okay? A class and a half. That's who beat us yesterday. Bama had coaching changes, some intentional, some on purpose. But think about the impact of those coaching changes. Think about those. Former assistants becoming head coach. Saban's age, people using that against him. The state of Alabama was low in total recruits this year, so Alabama didn't get as many. Like next year, Alabama have a great chance in state, much like Kirby locked down Georgia. Alabama have that chance next year. And then Tim Tyson said he believed that the incredible number of freshmen playing also hurt Alabama. So Bama still had an excellent class. That's Tim Tyson's opinion. You can get your thoughts in. We're going to bring Pat in, but go out to @Tot1029, @Tot1029 FM, and get your vote in. Pat, welcome into the Blitz. What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, sir. First off, the sky is not falling. We want to get off of negativity. I came on Ryan Fowler's show yesterday, and there was lots and lots of callers talking about my call afterwards. That do you realize that there could be other reasons that Coach Saban had for not completely filling out this class, like 2019 class is absolutely loaded. There's lots of in-state players, and that there's lots of players that are going to be maybe even higher rated than what the players were this year.
I think.
Go ahead.
I don't think it was intentional, Pat, but I don't think he's as stressed. If that makes sense.
Yes.
In other words, I don't think that he necessarily did it on purpose. Because if Jacob Copeland comes, Malik Langham comes, if Quay Walker decides to come, he takes all of those guys. But at the same time, the mood that he showed yesterday was one that all of those would have been great, but not necessary for success in 2018 or 2019, and he can get it.
Okay.
He can get it.
Let's go back to what we did get. Hey, you got to count Jarius Parks in this class, sir. Parks.
You know who else you have to count in this class that nobody's talking about?
Go ahead.
we got a 5-star running back that decided not to leave.
Exactly.
Named Damian Harris.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
you might as well count, like you said.
No,
hey,
you do count him because if he leaves, he probably goes out and tries to get another running back.
Yeah. Let's go on and finish this up though. We got Anoma. Anoma there was lots and lots of talk. I told you I was in on him a long time ago, and there was lots of talk about him being the number 1 overall prospect in the country.
Had he played longer than 2 years, he would have been.
He would have been. And I mean, like you said, there was still talk of him being. He's got one of the fastest first steps that since I've been watching defensive ends. I mean, he's incredible. But Jerez Parks is a bad man too, and now he's a grown man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it would have been nice to have had Bobby Brown. I would have liked to have added one more, but to give us a little more depth on the line. But the current guys that we have, and Isaiah Bugs is back, sir.
Let me say this too. Don't think that recruiting is over. See, everybody thinks that National Signing Day is the last day.
Oh, absolutely not.
There very well could be. Nick Saban could go, okay, we got somebody that, we thought this guy was coming. Nick Saban could have a grad transfer waiting in the wing.
Sure, there's going to be a quarterback to join this class, I promise you.
Or defensive lineman. So don't be surprised if Nick Saban doesn't pull off something else.
Exactly. But let's talk about the defensive backs. Yeah, I wanted Tyson Campbell. I won't lie. However, we did get Patrick Surtain, who I was telling y'all when we were talking with our man Hank, and we got him. And but we also have the number 1 JUCO corner in the country, already on board. That look, this thing was a fantastic job by Coach Saban, considering the fact that he had to replace so many coaches and that he had to be on the trail himself, so cotton picking much to keep everybody intact. Do you not agree?
I agree. I got to get the break here, Pat, but unbelievable recruiting job. Of course, we would have loved to have signed – Alabama would have loved to have signed 23 or 22 or whatever, but to have the coaching staff turnover that Alabama had and to still end up being second in your conference, which that's how you get to the national championship playoffs is win your conference, the college football playoffs. He's still number 2. This is only one class, and if you have to be number 1 every year, then no one would have gotten there other than Alabama. They'd have 7 straight. And the other thing everybody forgets is Alabama's ability to develop and Nick Saban's ability to if there's spots open next year, there'll be a grad transfer. There'll be other guys that he'll backfill this class. So I just know that, and he said this, and this is Martin's personal statement, the 1992 senior class that I was a part of, we were told we were the worst class Alabama had ever signed. And when we left here, we were the winningest class in Alabama. So, and even with 1 year where we lost 5 games. Other than that, we lost 1 or 2 games the other 3 years. So, so I just want Alabama fans to recognize, we're probably doing some spinning today because you have to look at the positive, but that's important that you don't downgrade the 19 kids that committed to come play for your Crimson Tide, because in 2 to 3 years, they're going to be the leaders of this team, and you don't want them leaving and going away because you told them how bad they were. This class is only where it's at because of the total number. Georgia had 26 players. Alabama had 19. That would be the difference in a lot of ways. So
there wasn't that much difference in the overall points per player, though.
No, well, it's 92.78 to 94.23. Then Auburn.
And again, that stuff is subjective, not necessarily objective. And because we've missed out. We've had speaking of that, Charles Bowen. Let's go ahead.
Hey, I got to get the break here, Pat. But
I understand. But like I said, hey, you have a blessed day.
You do.
And I'll be listening at 6 o'clock. Hey, to hear a repeat of our call. It was great.
All right, man. Thanks, Pat.
Bye.
You too. Bye.